For some, we are born with a desire to grow. We want to pack on muscle, hit the gym hard, recover like Wolverine, and overall grow into an elite level being. The journey can often feel daunting. Weight gain plateaus, slow recovery, and bad workouts can leave you feeling frustrated. But what if there was a powerful tool to help you overcome these challenges? A way to naturally stimulate growth hormone, leading to serious muscle gains, improved recovery, and while boosting appetite for the calories needed to grow. Enter GHRP6, a cutting-edge peptide that is revolutionizing the muscle building strategies. This potent compound not only enhances growth hormone but also increases hunger. Many fitness experts and researchers are recognizing that GHRP6 may be a vital component in helping build muscle and strength while providing a safe and effective alternative to harsh steroids and other mass-building interventions. Join me as we take a deep dive into GHRP6. I'll be sharing all my discoveries and research on this exciting compound. So what is GHRP6? GHRP6 is a GHRP, a growth hormone releasing peptide. And it actually is the third strongest GHRP. So it's kind of interesting. There's first ipamorelin, then there's GHRP6, then there's GHRP2, and then there's hexarelin. So GHRP6 is the third strongest. And this peptide really focuses on helping the body release more growth hormone and additionally increase hunger. GHRP6 weakly and temporarily increases cortisol and prolactin, which GHRP2 and hexarelin have a much stronger increase in prolactin and cortisol. So GHRP6 offers a little bit more growth hormone benefit with a little bit of prolactin and cortisol, but not nearly as much as GHRP2 or hexarelin. So how does GHRP6 work? GHRP6 works by targeting different receptors in the pituitary gland to help mimic and stimulate ghrelin. And ghrelin is the hunger hormone, but also it's very crucial for releasing growth hormone. So when you do feel hunger, your stomach like rumbling, your body's actually releasing growth hormone. So GHRP6 does that, which is why it releases growth hormone and at the same time increases appetite. Additionally, GHRP6 helps inhibit somatostatin, which is the rate limiting effects to release growth hormone. So overall, GHRP6 helps release growth hormone by mimicking the ghrelin hormone, activating different receptors in the pituitary gland, and additionally inhibiting somatostatin. All this together leads to the release of growth hormone. And now I want to touch on the differences between a GHRH and a GHRP. So a GHRH is a growth hormone releasing hormone. And these group of peptides really focus on creating growth hormone. They do help the body release growth hormone too, but the main focus is creating growth hormone. And then GHRPs, which is growth hormone releasing peptide, which is what GHRP6 is, these group of peptides mainly focus on releasing growth hormone. Both of these peptides have overlap where they both will create and release growth hormone, but a GHRH will create more growth hormone and a GHRP will release growth hormone, which is why oftentimes they're paired together to have a synergistic effect because one will create it and one will release it. So what are the research benefits of GHRP6? Well, the biggest benefits is that it's going to help increase endogenous growth hormone. And with more growth hormone leads to a cascade of benefits such as building more muscle, burning more fat, sleeping better, better regeneration, better immune system, thicker bones. Another main research benefit of GHRP6 is increasing hunger because it mimics ghrelin, which for GHRP6, this is a big benefit because many researchers use GHRP6 to help stimulate hunger, which is needed for muscle growth. So what are the research side effects of GHRP6? First I've seen is water retention and joint pain. This usually comes from very high doses and long durations. Second I've seen is increase in cortisol and prolactin, additionally anxiety and depression. And I think what happens is first you get the prolactin and cortisol, which then leads to increases or sensations of anxiety and depression. Again, I've seen this mostly when it's on very high doses and longer durations, but it's important to be aware that GHRP6 is a more potent peptide, and usually more potent peptides can have side effects, but it's important to note that poison is in the dose. Now let's go into the research dosing and cycling, and this is coming from just studying peptide experts, my own personal experience, and just other subjective experiences. And I've seen anywhere from 100 to 600 micrograms per day, or the most common being around 100 micrograms. But if I see someone doing a higher amount, it's the most common done in multiple injections because GHRP6, you'll get it, you get to release, and it goes back down. So some extreme athletes or bodybuilders want multiple releases of growth hormone per day, so they'll do multiple injections of 100 micrograms or maybe multiple injections of 150 micrograms. And then when it comes to actually cycling, I've seen anywhere from 5 days on, 2 days off, for 8 to 12 weeks on, and 4 to 8 weeks off. Personally, for stronger peptides like GHRP6, I like to be more conservative and do shorter cycles with longer off periods, especially since this peptide can increase cortisol and prolactin. So to summarize it, anywhere from 100 to 600 micrograms per day, most often done 100 micrograms per day. It can be done multiple times a day to get more pulses, 5 times a week, 5 days on, 2 days off, for 8 to 12 weeks on and 4 to 8 weeks off. And last note, it's important to take this peptide either 30 minutes before eating or 2 hours after eating because carbs and fats can disrupt the release of growth hormone. Personally, my favorite time to take growth hormone peptides is before a workout in a fasted state or after my workout before I have my post-workout meal. Now let's go into peptides I would take with GHRP6. First would be some kind of GHRH, like ModGRF129 or testosterone. Well, those will create more growth hormone and GHRP6 will release growth hormone. Another great one would be IGF-1LR3, amazing peptide for building muscle, especially if your main goal is putting on size, which is very common for GHRP6. Another great peptide would be PEG-MGF, which really focuses on muscle recovery. Another peptide would be TB500, BPC157, and GHKCU, which is often called the GLOW combo, but these play an amazing role in helping the body recover because one of the most important things for hitting the gym hard is recovery. Another peptide would be Kisspeptin-10, which plays a major role in helping increase LH and FSH, which are important for increasing testosterone, but testosterone with growth hormone is crucial for building muscle. Another peptide would be DSIP, which helps a lot with sleep. And some last peptides, they're not really peptides, but they're compounds I definitely do want to talk about, and I will be making videos on soon, is ACG, HMG, gonadorelin, and clonidine citrate. All these peptides play a major role in helping with more testosterone or helping the body produce LH and FSH, which those have many benefits, but specifically helping the body make more testosterone. And testosterone with growth hormone is a very powerful combo. And now let's go into some supplements I would stack with GHRP6. First would be some kind of natural test booster. I'm thinking something with organs and herbs because more testosterone is crucial for complementing growth hormone. Next would be vitamin D with K2, very important for having good hormones. Next would be DHEA and progesterone. I think these two hormones can be very powerful, taken in small amounts, and they're very easy to get on Amazon. Have many benefits, especially combined with GHRP6. Next noteworthy supplement would be DIM, which is an amazing natural herb at modulating estrogen. Because if you have higher hormones, mostly testosterone, you will have more estrogen being produced, and DIM is a great natural way to make sure that your hormones are balanced. And lastly would be some kind of natural diuretic because one side effect of GHRP6 is water retention, and I found personally taking a natural diuretic is an easy way to reduce that. Now let's go into some lifestyle tools I would add. First would be an animal-based diet, especially with raw milk, especially if your goal is to gain weight and build muscle, which is oftentimes why GHRP6 is being researched, is for building muscle. And I think raw milk is one of the best ways in so many different ways to put on muscle and size in a healthy way. Next would be functional training with some bodybuilding in there, but mostly 80% functional training and 20% bodybuilding. I really do think functional training long-term is the best way to build muscle in a healthy way. Some other lifestyle tools I would look into would be sauna, amazing for recovery, also increasing growth hormone. Ice therapy, amazing for recovery. Next would be vibration therapy, specifically standing on a vibration plate. Amazing in so many different ways, but also increasing growth hormone. Some other things for testosterone, especially if you're a man, is icing your balls, red light therapy on your balls, magnesium lotion on the balls. All these amazing ways are great to optimize your nuts, and that can lead to many significant benefits. And last lifestyle tool will be HRT or hormone replacement therapy. I think GHRP6 can be an amazing way to either to optimize a protocol or to prevent suppression. So what are the pros of GHRP6? The first pro is that there's a large increase in growth hormone. It does increase hunger, which is amazing for bulking. There is a less increase in prolactin and cortisol compared to GHRP2 and hexarelin, which are stronger, but those have more side effects. So what are the major cons of GHRP6? The first major con is that it increases appetite, which for some researchers, that is not a good benefit. Next con is that it is more potent, that it can increase cortisol, it can increase prolactin, which for some researchers, they don't want to play around with that kind of stuff. They would rather use like ipamorelin. Ipamorelin is much more mild GHRP than GHRP6. So what's my overall opinion of GHRP6? I think GHRP6 is a powerful peptide and has a time and place depending on the goal. If my main goal was to build muscle and to pack on calories, GHRP6 would be my #1 choice to use. Definitely over like weight gainers because I want to eat real food. I actually want to feel hungry. So that would be an amazing way to eat whole foods and not take down these horrible like mass gainers that are horrible for you. Additionally, I would use GHRP6 more strategically. So I wouldn't do a full cycle. I might do 2 days on, maybe during my heaviest days or before my heaviest days of lifting, and then rest ipamorelin, because ipamorelin is a more mild GHRP. Overall, I think it's a badass peptide because it's like one of the best peptides for bulking because it increases hunger and increases growth hormone, especially combined with good lifestyle factors, a good strategy, and other peptides.